Doctor, can you explain exactly what colostrum is? And looking on your website, there may be some different definitions. You mentioned illegal versus actual.
Yeah, well, the actual definition is, of colostrum is the first food that mammals produce in the first 24 hours after birth of the calf. Now, mammals have been around for about 265 million years, so it's pretty proven technology. It's you know, the peptide area that we focus a lot on are the same peptides in every mammal, so that's why humans can take colostrum from cows or sheep or goats or whatever. It's all the same peptides, which is interesting. So we use colostrum, specifically we harvest it from cows because it's the most abundant source, and utilize that to help primarily heal the gut and normalize the systemic immune system in the human body. So colostrum is the first food that we all get when we're born. It's that important. It's full of all sorts of nutritional components, vitamins and minerals, lots of small levels of growth factors that actually heal the gut, and that's one of the reasons why it's useful in humans, is to actually help repair the gut, because one of the major issues that we have in health in this world is have leaky gut syndrome. And if your gut is porous, macroporous, that's when you get bacteria leaking into the body and large macromolecules of food that's undigested, and the body is then creating an innate immune response, causing allergies against all sorts of foods. So when somebody's allergic to one kind of food, they're more than likely they're allergic to many different kinds of foods. And it primarily stems back to the gut not being sealed, because the gut is basically a skin. It's 26 feet of tubing, which is technically outside of the body. And if that is so porous and we can't separate the bacteria and the digestive processes and macromolecules of food from the body, then our body just treats it like a foreign pathogen. So it's really important. The message is to heal the gut. And that's, the medical establishment is starting to get that now. It's been talked about for quite a few years, but now they're really understanding the importance of healing the gut. And colostrum, with the growth factors in it, do actually help accelerate that healing process. Because if you look at the small intestine, or the digestive tract, it's about 26 feet long, like I said. And if you laid out that small intestine, it's about 1 square meter of surface area. But when you look at it under a microscope with the villi and microvilli, you got about 300 square meters, which is about the size of a tennis court. So how can you try to absorb nutrients through scarred tissue of 1 meter versus 300 meters? So you can eat as much as you like, but if your gut is scarred and porous, you're not absorbing the food and getting it broken down. So you may eat a lot, but you're not absorbing it and utilizing it. So it's just that important to heal the gut, and you do that by taking colostrum. Colostrum contains about 20% naturally of immunoglobulins, and these immunoglobulins are used to attack pathogens. They don't attack the probiotics and natural bacteria that the humans and mammals have, but they tend to keep a lid on the population of harmful pathogens in the gut. They're simply the immunoglobulins, which are antibodies. That's what they are. And colostrum, taken orally in the form of cow colostrum, actually do keep that level of pathogens down in the gut. So that's one important component of colostrum. You also have in colostrum about 23% of oils, and these oils are have a whole range of fatty acids. If we take soybean oil and a lot of those types of oils, which are around C16, C18, there are a certain length of fatty acids, whereas cow colostrum contains from C4 to C22. Well, it helps in actually a human as well, and an infant, to actually heal the brain, because the brain is 70% fat, and the body needs the C4, which is the shorter chain fatty acids, up to C22, to help develop the brain. So it contains really good nutrients in terms of fatty acids and triglycerides. But in that, you contain fat-soluble nutrients as well. There's a lot of fat-soluble components that are delivered to the body, and one of them is leptin. Well, leptin is useful because it's a neurotransmitter, and it's used to regulate or signal to the brain quicker that you're full. A lot of babies, it takes quite a bit of time for them to realize that they have a full stomach, so they keep eating and then they spit up. Well, because the neurotransmitters haven't been activated yet because they're so young. So by containing leptin, that actually signals to the brain sooner that you've been, that you're full. But there's all these different things in colostrum. There's like thousands of different components. And, I have a research lab that just puts through small sections of colostrum through a mass spectrophotometer, and you'll see hundreds of peaks. Colostrum's been around for, like I said, 265 million years. It's proven technology. And it's a challenge for a scientist to actually go in there and try to figure out what's actually in there and what do these things do. And it's difficult because in traditional allopathic medications, you have one thing, one molecule that directly affects something in a one-dimensional way. So, but it's difficult for us nutraceutical guys to say what is causing this and what is causing that, because the body is a multidimensional system anyway. So colostrum contains all these things. And it's just useful to take it as one whole natural product. We've been able to separate, peptides from colostrum, and we know that this peptide fraction, and directly these peptides attach to activated T cells, which regulate the cytokine production. And we know that it normalizes the Th2, Th1 immune response. We know how the immune system works now over the last few years. And simply by normalizing the immune system or balancing it is really important. Now, when people talk about, well, it's important to boost the immune system. Well, why would you want to boost the immune system if you've already got an elevated or overactive or oversensitive immune system anyway, such as with an allergy or autoimmune disease? Okay, those are overactive, oversensitive states of the immune system. You don't want to boost that further. You need to start talking about immune balancing. Keeping the immune system balanced is very important to our survival. We put less stress on our bodies. We're not symptomatic. Because basically allergies are a Th2 response in the immune system. Autoimmune diseases are a Th1 response. And it's simply where particular stimuli like H1N1 have produced pro-inflammatory cytokine responses. It's simply balancing the production of all of these cytokines. And there's hundreds of different cytokines in the body, and all these are little peptides anyway, which communicate to different parts of the immune system. So it's getting the immune system to communicate and work effectively to balance the system. And when people have allergies or people have autoimmune diseases, the various different types of autoimmune diseases are essentially the same thing. They just manifest themselves differently in the body. That can be skin, it can be, the Crohn's disease can be an upper infection or inflammation causing the upper digestive tract. Whereas multiple sclerosis is an inflammation of the myelin sheath. There's all these areas of the body that causes autoimmune reactions, and they're all given different names. Essentially, it's the same thing. It's where the body is producing too many pro-inflammatory Th1 cytokines. How do you stop that? You simply modulate the immune system by taking something like colostrum peptides, which then reset the activated T cells, which are these factories which produce cytokines all the time. Every second of every day it's producing these cytokines. It's balancing the production, balancing the communication between cells. And by balancing the immune system, we lower the probability of becoming